Hey, I'm back and I'm wearing a gi because I'm here to talk about Rodolfo Viera and Marcus Buchecha. First, looking at Rodolfo Viera, if you click on him, he's 11-4 as a pro. Both of these guys got to MMA later in their career after extensive jiu-jitsu uh, careers. So Viera has 82% of his career wins by submission. Ricardo, 3 wins by submission, 30% of his record, but these aren't against people like Rodolfo Viera. Viera 1-1 by knockout. He just got knocked out by Bo Nickel. Not the best look. But his striking is improving though. If we just go over to UFC stats, Viera is landing more strikes per minute, so he should have the striking volume advantage. Obviously, he's landing more takedowns. We have a bunch of zeros for Eric McConaughey, and then defending at just 64%. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to talk about this 21% accuracy for Viera, but if he's attempting 20 takedowns, I think that's almost as good as hitting them at a higher percentage. So now the one that's a little bit tougher, Buchecha versus Ryan Spann. It's twofold. I mean, I think Spann is a tougher opponent than Eric McConaughey, but I also think that Buchecha hasn't shown the best of himself, and Viera has looked a lot better at the UFC level. So Buchecha landing just 1.7 strikes per minute. Very low. Spann, not a great volume striker, but 3.19, definitely a lot better than 1.7. Buchecha more accurate, though. Buchecha absorbing less. Spends a lot of time grappling. His defense is higher, so he's winning, except for the volume. Buchecha is actually winning it in the striking by the stats. And then you got takedowns, 2 per fight for Buchecha so far, and then 1.3 for Spann. Only a 16% accuracy, kind of similar to Viera. You see this from a lot of like heavy jiu-jitsu guys too, especially old school. They just aren't the best wrestlers. They're not the best at getting the takedowns. Mackenzie Dern is another one, not the best at getting the takedowns. But if they do, you're usually in trouble. Buchecha, unfortunately, hasn't really shown that. Spann, you can see, doesn't land a ton of takedowns. He can be taken down 3 times by Cutelaba. I didn't want to click on that. He was submitted really badly by Anthony Smith. If you watch that exchange, he just doesn't look good. So Ryan Spann, just 23-11, not a great record. Been knocked out 5 times, just 3-3 to the decision. Even submitted 3 times. But you see his 14 wins by submission. It tells you his best path to victory is by submission. It's going to be hard against somebody on the level of Marcus Buchecha. What's crazy, though, is I don't have it right now, but I wrote on my Substack, I think it's 11 of Spann's 14 submission wins are by guillotine. And let's just look right here. His last win was by guillotine. His last 2 wins were by guillotine. And then another one here. So 3 of his last 4 wins were by the guillotine and 11 of his 14 submission wins total. So he's got a real knack for finding a guillotine. We also saw this with Charles Jourdain, who had not quite as big of a number as Spann, but a high percentage of his submissions were by guillotine. And he was not even close to getting one against Kyler Phillips, who's a black belt. So I kind of expect the same thing. Somebody, again, as good as Buchecha is, I don't think Spann's going to have much grappling success. If Spann was to win this fight, I think he's going to win it by keeping it on the feet or just by hurting Buchecha anytime it is on the feet. It could happen quickly. But I think if Buchecha is to land like 3 takedowns, I think there's a very high chance that he wins the fight. Maybe just 1 or 2. Maybe he doesn't get anything done with those. But I think when you get into landing the 3 to 5 takedowns in this fight, I think there's a really high percentage that Buchecha wins by submission. So we have Buchecha by submission for plus 190, and then Rodolfo Viera by submission for plus 210. I'm taking both of them, and I'm parlaying them. So tell me if you want, but I'm looking forward to both of these fights.